With the departure of Zach Alley, how will OU's defense look next year in 2025? Let's talk about it right now on Sooner Barn. All right, now, saw a nice little article by the Oklahoman, Ryan Aber. Shout out to him. Let's look over real quick and I'll give you my thoughts. He says OU football not changing much on defense headed into 2025, even with Zach Alley's exit. So, OU's offense was a train wreck, of course, and in 2024, and they had their best defense in years. They were 19th nationally on total defense at 318.2 yards per game, 24th in rushing defense at 115.1 yards per game. We're both 10th in tackles for loss at 7.4, and we're tied for 6th in fumble recoveries with 12. But the Sooners offense featured plenty of unknowns for the Sooners defense. Danny Sussman, Billy Bowman. Two of the building blocks of OU's defense resurgence under Brent Venables are preparing for the NFL draft after exhausting their eligibility. So they are both seniors done. And we know Deshaun McCullough, cornerback Kanai Walker, all each went to the transfer portal. Defensive coordinator Zach Alley, he left for West Virginia, which is just kind of crazy, but that's what he did. You know what I'm saying? So he decided to move on. And there are plenty of things that we need to go over, but even losing Zach Alley and the early portal defections, losing the defensive coordinator hasn't slowed the Oklahoma Sooners' defensive momentum. Most boxes of the Sooners needed to check in the offseason have already been checked off. The first was retaining talent, which they did. They retained most people except for McCullough, but he only played in a couple games the last couple years. He's been hurt, so here for 2 years. He flashed a couple times, but didn't do much. Far as I feel like we're just gonna miss him so much. You know what I mean? Other players entered the portal were Lewis Carter. He went to Central Florida. Makari Vickers, safety, went to Colorado. Linebacker Phil Picchiotti went to Central Florida. Cornerback Jane Rowe went to Kansas State. Defensive lineman Ashley Sanders went to UCLA. Defensive lineman Devon Sears hasn't chosen a spot yet. And then we got Walker to Arkansas. But, although most of those guys, they won't be returning, the Sooners have retained Robert Spears Jennings, R. Mason Thomas, Dominic Williams, those type of guys. And that's very important. And the biggest is Thomas among those guys who came in as a guy who we thought could do some things this year, but he ended up getting 9 sacks, 23 tackles, 11 quarterback carries, 2 fumble recoveries, a forced fumble, a pass breakup in his first fully healthy season down there. Normally, that has been the issue. He just hasn't been able to get on the field due to injuries. And we know that Spears Jennings was one of the most consistent guys on the defense. And he just, he had 66 tackles, which was second most for OU, behind Danny Sussman, 4 forced fumbles, and a pair of fumble recoveries. So those are things that we can definitely take into next season. Production wasn't the greatest in the second half of the year, but he still managed to have a good season. We know Dominic Williams, he had 31 tackles, 4.5 for loss. He had a sack, and he just played good football. It didn't show up in the numbers so much, but he was a guy who came out there, did what he had to do, F up the play type of player, as we like to call it. So those are the things that we are looking forward to seeing next year. They also got Marvin Jones Jr., as we've discussed plenty of times here lately, and he'll be coming in from Florida State, a guy who should be able to provide some pass rush on the edge. We lost Caden Wheeler, Trace Ford, Ethan Downs, guys like that. So hopefully he can come in and provide something that we need. Like I said, Kenyon Daniels, again, those type of players will be guys who can continue what they've been doing on defense. So I don't think that Preventive is going to change up too much, no matter regardless of whoever he brings in here. I think it's going to be a situation where they just going to have to keep it pushing, keep reloading, and just play steady defense so the offense can hopefully come out there and look a lot better than it did last year, because they are coming off an offensive season where they were like the worst in the last 25 years. So let's get out there and do it. And regardless, today is always a good day to be a Sooner. And I'm out. Moving Sooner.